It's War Dragon time, RPW here with another video to the Beginner's Guide to War Dragon series. Now today's video will not be very long, but I kind of wanted to go over everything about the Team Wiki. Not only for the player that is looking for information within Wiki, but for the leadership that might be trying to figure out how to utilize it best for your team. Now, there are a lot of cool little features in Wiki that some teams don't know. I know that, for example, myself didn't realize until recently that I could put images within the Wiki itself. So let's go over that a little bit and let me show you exactly how you can utilize some of the cool tricks within it. Okay, so first of all, Wiki is going to be in your third tab. And when you go in there, you're going to see either what your team is put or what you plan to put for your team. Now, I like my first page to just basically be an overview of what they can find in my subpages. Now, if you'll notice down here below, there are all of these subpages they can click on. The welcome orientation, team expectations, leadership roles, and so forth. Now, let's go ahead and click on the guides library. The guides library, you'll notice I have a very pretty picture at the top and a quick explanation of the subpages below, starting with yours truly's YouTube page. Now, with this being said, you can create subpages within the subpage so that they can find this information. And you can't use a hyperlink in here, but they can easily select, copy, and paste this into their browser. Just make sure you let them know that that is the action they will have to follow in order to get to that website. If you'll notice at the bottom, it now says restrict all access. If I click that, that is going to prevent other players from editing this page. Now, I suggest that you definitely do this because you don't want, somebody to come in that gets upset with you and deletes out your work or anything of that nature. So it's best to keep it that way. Now, the great thing about adding photos is, like, for example, with this picture here, I'm able to share the stuff that is out on the website already, that they don't have to actually go to a link and find info. They can easily get to the cool information within these subpages. Now, there are going to be, more extensive things where you can't really put a bunch of images in there, like with Red's breeding path. For someone to utilize that, you would really want them to go to her website so they can understand all the different options she has for them. Now, let's add a subpage really quickly so I can show you guys how you do this. First of all, you're going to name your subpage. This is literally just going to show you the name of the subpage in the link. But when it comes to the content, be sure to scroll down to the bottom because you're going to find all of these cool little things, like how you can number a list out, or you can add bullets or whatever, so that you can have all these cool contexts within your subpage. So for example, if I want to have the bold writing, I would put 2 of the star symbols on either side of the word that I'm trying to create bold. And then if you want those to be separated by line, you may want to hit enter 2 times. So that's one example, and I'll just go ahead and show you guys really quickly also how you can add images to this. Now, just so you know, you're going to have to be able to find an image that is already present on the internet because you are going to need to add in a URL. But by typing in these, you can actually put a bracket thereafter with the URL in between. So you're going to put the bracket and then you're going to put in your URL. And once you've pasted in your URL, you're going to finish it up with a bracket on the right hand side. And when you save this, it's going to actually upload the image from that URL right there in that page. So let's go ahead and scroll to the top and click save. And now you're going to see at the bottom, it's going to have a little square because there's no actual image there. But if I was to go gather an image real quick, I'll show you, for example. If we got to the website, I've already searched up War Dragons. There are all these images here that I can choose from. So all you have to do is simply touch the picture, hold it down, and click copy. Then you're going to hop back over, and you literally want to make sure you save anything before you do this because it does take you back to square one. So when you go in here, you're going to be able to scroll down and go back into, for example, in this case, to the guides library. Click example, edit the page, and then we're just going to edit that one part. We're going to go ahead and add the URL to this section. So backspace this here, and we're going to paste. Then we're going to end it with the right hand bracket and go up and click save. And you'll see now that I've done this, it actually adds the image from that website. Now there are times you might find if the website goes away or they take down that photograph, your pictures could also go away. So you might want to check on it, not frequently, but often enough to know whether there needs to be some changes. Now, another quick thing is there are some other things in here like headers that can make things interesting. So if you guys do these, I suggest that you kind of play with them a little bit in an example one, and then you can go out and actually use your notepad to type out what you want to show or say and just paste that in there. And there isn't a limited amount of wordage like with your like with the messages you send out. So you could even have in here a really awesome weekly newsletter that people can come in and look at and not have to actually email it out to everyone. So I think that's what we're thinking about going to, is actually putting the newsletter within the wiki. So we shall see. I think it'd be kind of cool. But anyways, with these little number signs, you're going to actually make the header and subheaders. So after I get done with this, we'll go ahead and scroll to the top and click save. And now you're going to see that they actually have headers and they're bold and they are a separate color than everything else. Okay, let's scroll down and click delete page to get rid of this. By the way, you cannot undo this, so only do it if you necessarily want to. And let's show you how you can rearrange the order of your subpages. If you click this arrow here, it's actually going to move an item up or replace an item. So for example, if I want Team War Guides to be at the top, then I can scroll this up by clicking that arrow. And if I want to take up the RPW YouTube up a few, then all I'd have to do is continually go down and click the arrow until it's where I want it. Now, I particularly think it's very important to have a war guide at the very top so that the team members, when they come in here, they see that that's the first thing that is a very important part of your team's process. So that's just a few examples of what you can do with subpages, and of course how you can add these awesome images to it. But another couple of things I want to point out is you should have things for example, your new team members. Here's an area we have to welcome all new team members to our team so that they know all the information they need to know. And of course, you're going to want to put in your team's expectations. I like to break this up as, my general expectations, the expectations of wars, our events, activities, and even your alts. This way, when people come into your team, they know exactly what they're getting themselves into and what they need to do to fit in with your team. And the last but not least, I think that a leadership roles section is very important so they know who it is that they should contact in any specific questions. So this is a great way to kind of share with the entire team what the roles of each of your officers are so they know who to, like I said, contact. Now that concludes today's video on the Team Wiki tab, but if you and your team do your team, Wiki tab a little bit differently than, like, let's say I put here or that you've seen in other teams, and you have any awesome tips you'd like to share from your experiences, be sure to put that in here. And if you knew nothing about Wiki and this was actually very helpful, then maybe you could put a couple questions down there if there's something I didn't cover or how it may have helped your team out in the future. So that is it for today, guys. I'm sorry today's is short and sweet. I've got a lot on my schedule today, but we will be coming back to you tomorrow with a Talk Dragon Tuesday episode I'm very excited about, so be sure to check that out. Alright guys, make sure you leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the little bell so that you don't miss when other videos come up. Alright, we'll talk to y'all later. Happy hunting!